And this is a topic meeting, and I'd like to introduce to you the speaker. His name is Ron H., and he will be talking about tradition 7 through 12. Right?
All right, Ron.
Don't leave that down.
I'm an addict named Ron. And I'm here by God's grace and God's mercy. And I like to give all thanks to the God of my understanding, for anything that's going on in my life today. I ain't gonna pick and choose. They told me I should have been dead, We're gonna like rock and roll here today with something that the fellowship commonly regards as the Dead Sea Scrolls, right? I'm talking about, like, people like avoid tradition meetings like the plague, And what do we say? I'm here for the long haul. I ain't here, it's a day at a time, but I need to say this. I plan to be here tomorrow, all right? So I need to make an investment in the shit that has me here today, And so I'm going to talk about the Dead Sea Scrolls, known as the traditions, and see if we can bring some life to them, bring some meaning to them. And first of all, I want to congratulate the people who are here to sit through tradition 7 through 12. All right? What you're doing, and I want to say this, you're sitting through 1/4 of the Narcotics Anonymous program. Narcotics Anonymous is a program of 12 steps and 12 traditions. So, I'd like to congratulate you for making an investment in your recovery. They also say, well, Ron, we'd like for you to do these traditions. Now, don't ask me why, because, like, a part of me says, well, you can do this or you can do that. And part of me really says, well, you ain't holding nothing on traditions 8 and 9, right? Well, that's not true. That's not true. I had to go to my spiritual advisor, and I had to talk about why I felt I wasn't holding nothing. I'm holding whatever I need. Whatever I got is what y'all gonna get, Now, and I need to say a couple things here. Real important to me. It says we keep what we have only with vigilance. And just as freedom for the individual comes from the 12 steps, so freedom for the group springs from our traditions. As long as the ties that bind us together are stronger than those that would tear us apart, all will be well. From that, what I get, right, is that, what do we say? At the end, I'm going to talk steps here. To me, traditions ain't shit without steps. There ain't nothing without steps. The end of the first step, it says we open the door for a power greater than ourselves that can help us. All right? So I'm saying, if I ain't working those steps, then I'm what Narcotics Anonymous, we say cordially refers to as clean and crazy. All right? So now, when I come to, check it out, your business meeting, if I'm in your home group, and I'm not working no steps, and I'm clean and crazy, the only thing I had to offer your business meeting, my home group, is a drunk message. So I took a risk and I said that. It's about working steps here. They talk about, and I want to support what I'm talking about. I'm not going to give you my opinion. I ain't going to give it to you. If I don't have nothing on it, I'll shut the fuck up. I'm not here to impress. I'm a sick and suffering addict, learning a day at a time. And that's about all to it. If I ain't got nothing, I'll keep moving. It says in tradition 1, the first tradition, and I'm not doing 1, right? I'm doing 7 through 12. Well, guess what? All of the arms of the octopus reach back to the body. The body here is that anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions. Ever reminding us to place principles before personalities. Anonymity. They tell me that the fidelity the fidelity of Narcotics Anonymous. What is fidelity? Fidelity is my loyalty, my integrity. What is my integrity? I am who I say I am. You understand? I talk about carrying the message to the attitude still suffers. Then I've got to walk that. I've got to live it. So we're talking about the fidelity of this program, which is anonymity. So I shoot back to tradition one, where tradition one clearly tells me. It says something like this. With faith in a power greater than ourselves, hard work, and unity, we will survive and continue to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. They're talking about faith in a power greater than myself. They say we didn't come here brimming with what? Honesty, open-mindedness, willingness, and there's one more word, love. We didn't come here with that. So why the fuck would I think that I came here with faith in a power greater than myself? I get that faith through some step work. That's what y'all told me. I ain't making this shit up. You know? So now I go back, right? You gotta go to a book meeting to get the hit. You don't get it if you don't go to, if you hang around, right? And go to those meetings where you just dump problems. We'll say it's problem oriented. Yeah. Might miss the hit. Understanding these traditions comes slowly over a long period of time. Check it out. It is only through understanding and application that they work. I'm talking about I gotta stick and I gotta stay. In order to change, in order to get with some humility, I have to work some steps here, and there's some step work that's going to give me that humility. Because when there are going to be decisions that are made, all right, that are going to help to save my life and the life of other addicts, that are going to require me doing something that is real deep, you know. And it talks about it. It works how and why. You know, I'm going to share this. I'm not going to rush through it. I'm going to find it and I'm going to share it. Our unity. This is in tradition 12. Our unity is so precious that given a choice, listen to this shit, given a choice between fulfilling our own wishes and preserving our fellowship's common welfare, we put the best interest of NA first. First. So I'm talking about how the hell am I here? Totally self-centered, right? Huh? Threefold disease, body, mind, and spirit. You know, totally self-centered. Now you're telling me that I got to put your interests before mine? How do I get to that? What do I have to do? I have to work steps. I have to have steps in my life in order to do that. We're talking about selflessness or unconditional living. Talking about a third step. Not a third step, we would say on paper, or a Milli Vanilli third step. But a third step where when I make a decision, not always easy to do. You said it, Val. Sometimes the decision, right, to ask for God's help can be our greatest source of strength and courage, right? You know what I'm saying? You know, so I'm saying that to do that, to turn my will and my life over, it's very, very difficult. But in order for me to get on, to be the best addict I can be, and I need to do that kind of stuff. It's not hard. And I need you to guide me along that path, because at any given time, and I'm honored to say that I'm first and foremost a human being, flawed. I'm a perfectly imperfect creation created by the perfect creator. You understand? I'm the piece of the fucking puzzle that's missing. Maurice DeVille says that most of us, and I don't think anybody want to lay claim to being unique in this way, most of us suffer from fractured personalities. Everybody I know in my life has a fractured personality. And start with me. You know? So now, I'm going to segue into the seventh tradition. The seventh tradition talks about every NA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. I mean, why? Why don't we take contributions? Why? They want to offer us money. Why? Let me deal with some history. I remember when there was a struggle in what used to be the Belgian Congo. There was a guy named CASSETTE and a guy named Lumumba. See, I've been around a while. I was an addict, but I was in jail and I was reading newspapers and studying books. You understand? And I watched the things that happened. You know, check it out. We're talking about living life on life's terms in here, right? Life on life's terms, all right? Life doesn't start and end with NA. Life was going on before I showed up here, and it continues to go on. So now, CASSETTE and Lumumba are in the Belgian Congo, right? It was the Belgian Congo because it was colonized by Europeans from Belgium, all right? So now, people say we want independence. Freedom, freedom, uhuru sasa, freedom now, we want freedom now, right? And they started to pick up arms and weapons. And they say, oh shit, we better do something about this. Europeans, the Belgians, right? We better do something about this. So what they did is they assassinated Lumumba, and they told the people, wait a minute. We're gonna allow you some self-determination. We're gonna allow you to have your own leader. So the Europeans financed a guy named CASSETTE. They put CASSETTE in there. They figured, like, if you got somebody in blackface, everything would be all right. So they put the money behind CASSETTE. And CASSETTE started calling the shots. But he wasn't calling the shots for the independence of the people. He was calling the shots for the Belgians. And guess what they call that? It used to be colonialism when the Belgians were there. Then it changed into what they call neo-colonialism. That's a term where when you have a guy like CASSETTE in there. So now let's bring it home to Narcotics Anonymous. All right? We ain't got no literature. We need literature, we need key tags, we need pamphlets. You know, we got nothing. And here's a guy from a major national or international corporation that says, look, man, look, I got some money for you. You need boxes of basic text. You need it works how and why. You need times of illness. You need just for the day meditation books. You understand? So I'm gonna give you the money. I'm gonna give you the money, Ron. So like, they give me the money, right? Give me the money. I start buying boxes of basic text, boxes that works how and why, how and why. You understand? You know, I start calling the shots. The group. They want to have an election. Your term is up. Your term. I say my term is not up. What do you mean my term is up? I'm secretary for life. For life. He who pays the piper calls the tune. You understand? You know, and we're talking about being able to carry our primary purpose. We don't have but one primary purpose in this program, and that's to carry the message to the addict who still suffers. That's all. That's the only purpose we have. You know, the spirit of anonymity helps to protect that. We're talking about when a group is not able to fulfill its primary purpose. What happens? What happens? Do we have to take contributions from outside people? No, we ask members to dig deeper. Dig deeper. Dig in your pocket deeper. Do we put on, listen to this shit, do we put on fundraisers? Does the group do that? The book says the group doesn't do that. It says it. Now, no, I'm going to step on some toes. What do you mean the group? The book says that we effect committees and subcommittees. All right? We're talking about tradition 8, right? Committees and subcommittees. All right? Because the committee and subcommittee has no source of revenue other than the group. All right? The group's primary purpose is to carry the message to the addicts who still suffers. So we don't want to get into money, property, or prestige. Having a lot of money. You know, it's the stuff that they talked about in the, what is it, 6th edition stuff, right? Money, property, and prestige. We don't want that. You know, we don't want to get into. They say we can do it. It works how we can do it, but it says best left to activities committee. You know, so it's 7th tradition is quite simply, to me, he who pays the piper calls the tune. We call the tune in Narcotics Anonymous. We call what the message is going to be. You know, the message is not going to be anybody's message other than our own. What is the 7th tradition? It's not just money. It's not just money. The spirit of anonymity, we're talking about anonymity coming through all the traditions. Anonymity says that support, self-support, is addicts helping to make coffee, addicts helping to set up chairs. Check it out. Check it. Here's the biggest self-support that we can possibly have. Huh? Here it is. Here it is. I call it home group member. Most importantly, a group needs the consistent commitment of its members to show up and take part in its meeting. You know, how many times you've been in a business meeting, right? And so all home group members put up your hand. And the only one who did it was the person sitting at the chair in the front. You know, it's sad. It's sad. Self-support is just that. It's not just dollars. It's self-supportive attitude. What do you mean self-supportive attitude? That means, and we get into the later traditions, like a tradition 11, you know, talks about public relations and stuff like that. You know, self-support really boils down to that I need some steps in my life so that I can live unconditional, so that I can do some shit that, check it out, that I ordinarily wouldn't do. You know, I don't do that. You know, how can I do that? How can I do that? I don't do that. How can I do that? Through some humility. Through some humility. You know, through some owning who I am. Oh, it's a process, and that comes in the step work. Owning who I am. Who am I? You know, like taking the cut off of my ego, taking the cut off my arrogance, taking the cut off my image. You know, who am I? You know, and owning who I am. When it says the first, check it out. The first step, and it works how and why. It says, at first, we tell the truth about our drug problem. Then it says, the next line says, then we tell the truth about our lives. About our lives. You know? So in order to effectively get with binding the ties, you know, I got to work on myself. I can't come here talking about I ain't working no steps. They say the steps are our solution. They're our survival kit. They're our defense against addiction. I need a defense. I need to do that. I need to work hard than a motherfucker every day. All right? Some days are better than others, but I need to do that. You know? So we're talking about the spirit of self-support, you know? Think about it. I'm not sitting here. I'm not the pinnacle. That's a word I learned in prison, right? I'm not the pinnacle of the consummate recovering addict. There are times when I jet from my home group. I don't pick up a chair. You understand? Guess what? The way this thing is designed, it's designed to know that they say we keep what we have only with vigilance. But every day I'm not so grounded with God. Every day I just don't jump into God's arms. What happens is, guess what? On the days when I can't pick up a chair, when I can't go and hug the newcomer, that's self-support. Hugging the newcomer. Letting the newcomer feel like he's in the right place. Not shunning the newcomer because he's filthy, smelly, scratching all over. You understand? Hug the newcomer. When them days when I just can't hug him, I'm not there. You understand? You hug him. Huh? It said in the 7th edition is that besides money, that each member should do his or her fair share. So you do your fair share hugging funky newcomers. And I say that with love and care. You know? I do say that. All right. Tradition 8. Tell you what, I told you that the Dead Sea Scrolls ain't dead no more. You know, I ain't never seen a tradition meeting with this many people in it. Damn, I want to check it out. I want to thank y'all for coming out. Yeah. Check it out. Check it out. I'm gonna read this. You know, I'm not reinventing the wheel. I'm gonna give you my experience, but I'm gonna support my experience with shit in the book. You understand? I don't want you attacking me. Y'all can get real sick sometimes on a motherfucker. You know? Talking about that's his opinion. You know? Yeah, well, right. Well, check this shit out, right? Yeah, check it out. Narcotics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional. But our service centers may employ special workers, right? Narcotics Anonymous offers a distinctly non-professional approach to the disease of addiction. I'm reading from It Works, How and Why. We have no hospitals. Check it out. Please hear the description that our fellowship gives us. We have no hospitals, no treatment centers. No treatment centers. No outpatient clinics. None of the facilities associated with a professional enterprise. We do not diagnose anyone, condition, or check it out, or track the progress of our patients. Yeah, let's not get confused about where the fuck we are. Well, we can get out there. Next thing they be calling me Dr. H. I don't think so. I ain't going for that shit, man. Shit's enough carrying my mom. I'm sick than the average motherfucker, all right? It's hard enough for me to carry myself on a day-to-day level. Let's talk Dr. H. I don't think so. In fact, we have no patients, check it out, only members. Only members. Throughout all of our literature, talk about the only requirement for membership is what? A desire to stop using. Desire. That's all. Desire. You know, and to how you say it, to punctuate this, it's a desire of our understanding. You ain't got to have my desire. You ain't got to be a Ron H. clone. You got to have a desire of your understanding. You understand? Sometimes the desire, we say that. I was in a meeting Thursday night, right, Renee? I was in the addict was just like me, reminded me of myself. The addict was nodding, tough, scratching, you understand? Nodding. And I looked over there and I said, yes. We prayed her into the room. We prayed for that one right there. Look at her nodding. Bless your sweet soul. Because she had a goddamn desire to stop using. Why the fuck would she be sitting in a meeting? She could be on the corner in front of picking chicken. Yeah. Oh, it's just, this shit is deep. It's deep. Huh? It says the group is not the jury of desire. You understand? The group don't take nobody's motherfucking inventory as to whether or not you should be here. You understand? Don't say that. You know what it says? It says any addict, even any addict who walks into a meeting, I might add who crawls into a meeting. You understand? Even a using addict displays a level of willingness. Why the fuck are they there? Displays a level of willingness that cannot be discounted, while maintaining an emphasis on the importance of total abstinence. Still using addicts are welcomed into our meetings with special encouragement to keep coming back. You know? Desire is not a measurable commodity. You can't measure desire. It said it lives in the heart of each individual member. I came for 3.5 years using. You understand? Using. Addicts with fractured personalities took my inventory. what the fuck is he doing here? But I kept coming back. And my desire grew. It grew. It grew into 30 days. You dig what I'm saying? Huh? It grew into years, multiples. You understand? Well, all I had was a desire. Desire. I was in the worst of conditions. So I implore you. That's a word I learned in prison, too. See, I was in prison for 15 years. A long time. You know, I was in prison before my woman was born. Understand? You know, so I'm saying that I'm here by God's grace, and I implore you, if you know somebody who can't get it. They say, what's the first step? Huh? We say we powerless not only over drugs, but over our addiction as well. People, places, and things. And if I want you to be a certain way, I don't like you nodding. I don't like you scratching. I don't like you skied the fuck up. You understand? I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it. Then I better make myself the person I want you to be. That's powerlessness. And that's our public relations policy. It's not always outside. You know, how we treat somebody when they come in here rusty and dusty and they ain't got shit. You know? Judgmental. We are some judgmental motherfuckers, man. Damn, man. You know? So back to professionalism. Our groups do not provide professional, therapeutic, medical, legal, or psychiatric services. We are simply a fellowship of recovering addicts who meet regularly to help each other stay clean. That's nutshelling this professionalism tip. We say we don't give a fuck what you do as a vocation. We don't even give a goddamn if you work in that. All right, although we do suggest that in order to become an acceptable, responsible, and productive member of society, and step work, second step especially gives me courage and hope, tells me that I can be restored to sanity. Step work tells me that since we fully self-supporting, decline on all outside contributions, that I need to be fully self-supporting, decline on all outside contributions, so we would beg that you get a fucking job. Get a job. You know, I heard Tyrone speak about it last night. After 4 or 5 years, they ain't got no job. You know, what it is, it ain't got no job, ain't got no goddamn courage. Unless there's special needs. Some people have special needs, and you exempt from that. You know, disabilities, handicaps, and stuff. We're not talking to you. We know what you do. You're probably taking care of your life. It's probably more manageable than ours. You know, I'm talking about motherfuckers like me. Ain't nothing wrong with me. You understand? Except I'm out of my mind on any given day. You know, which is why I need y'all. You know, so I come in there, I work in one of them, a whole bunch of us work in one of them anonymous treatment facilities, right? You know, I work in one of them, and I go to meetings in the area where I live, and like, man, they don't know. Newcomers come, and they ask me about an appointment on my job. And I said, look, man, I don't want to be rude, but I can't deal with that right here. You know, I'm here for my own recovery. I'm a recovering addict. I'm sick and I'm suffering just like you. You know, because I sit at this desk, you know, sometimes I look like I'm not using. Check it out. Here's the hit. Put the biggie on. I look like I'm not using. Check it out. It might just be a day where the only thing I ain't using is drugs. Our disease is threefold: body, mind, and spirit. Spirit, right? So I have relapses on a spiritual tip. I have mental relapses. You might see me and I look all right, but I'm all fucked up. So I tell them I'm here for myself. If you need anything, you know the hours and the time and the place. Just come on down, you know? You can wear people out. As a member of my family in Narcotics Anonymous, who happens to be a medical doctor, you know? Man, that cat would be out using, and everybody's kids would get well, but he would die. And people keep coming to meetings trying to ask him to diagnose their kids. You understand? Can't do it. I got a good friend who's in the legal profession. Do you know what? The guy would be out there using and probably locked the fuck up himself. And people kept draining him of all his energy in meetings, talking about their legal cases. You know, we love each other. The things that we do outside of Narcotics Anonymous is personal choice. It's personal choice. You know? So we're talking about traditions. We don't, if you're here to get a lawyer, keep coming back. You know, if you're here to get a bedside nurse, keep coming back. You know, if you're here for a treatment center advisor, keep coming back. You know what I'm saying? You know, we're addicts, and anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions. And it doesn't just skip over the 8th tradition. All of them. That means when I come in here, I am only an addict, and most of the time in dire need of help. All right? So now, with that, I don't know if I'm making any sense up here. You know? Tradition 9. I don't know if there's any committee or subcommittee chair people here. But let's talk about the 9th tradition. NA as such. I used to think this shit was dry too, Usman. That's some dry ass shit, you know? It's just real, that's Dead Sea Scroll number 9. Not so. NA as such ought never. Never, man. What does never mean? Never. Never means never. It's an absolute never. Be organized. But we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. All right. Check it out. To maintain the focus of its recovery meeting, the group usually conducts its business meetings separately, keeping NA as such as simple as possible. Now, I'm gonna read a couple of these things, because check it out. Like, I've been before judges for years, right? I tell you I was in prison for 15 years, right? So you go to court, they build a case against your ass, even when they ain't got one, right? So now, here we go. First, the groups define their needs. Then they create the boards and committees which will serve them. Sometimes we can get off base. Sometimes we can get so locked and loaded. But I'm the secretary of this committee. I'm the treasurer. I'm the chair. We can get so locked and loaded and off base that sometimes we feel like the committees are there for the groups to serve. Well, and I'm not going to say that's the case all the time. What we're trying to do is prevent that kind of shit from happening. All right? It says that communication is a two-way street. Groups share information and guidance with the boards and committees serving them. Then these boards and committees report back to the groups to which they are responsible, describing their operations, discussions, and plans. You know, if it went on to say that that the money raising, all right, and it's in this 9th tradition, talks about the money raising should pretty much stay with the committees. The committees are affected because the committees, right? Our primary purpose is first and foremost to addicts who come into our home groups. Addicts who come into our groups. That is the group, right? Listen, the group is the most powerful vehicle for carrying the message. Check it out, I'm going to say it. The group, not activity subcommittee, not, check it out, not H&I, because it doesn't say that. It says the group, check it out, but H&I is an extension of the group. Because we affect H&I. It doesn't just abracadabra. All of a sudden you got H&I. You know, we establish H&I to serve the group so that people can get a presentation, understand what that hope is possible, right? Any addict can stop using drugs. Let me tell you something. I did 15 years in prison. You couldn't tell me that I could stop using. You know, why I always kept doing over and over and over. Yeah, after goddamn year, the same thing. Kept going back to prison, right? All kind of prison numbers, 33-262, 51-410, 54-45, 625-24. And they had more coming from me. You understand? Do what you always did, get what you always got. You know, why should I think it would be any different? You know, so I'm saying, so I'm not naked knocking H&I. I ain't gonna people please H&I either. I'm saying H&I is effective to the motherfucker. It's an extension of the group. Just like area service is an extension of the group. The group doesn't serve area. Area serves the group. You know? So, with that, I'm gonna move on. Did anybody not get that? All right. Damn Nelson. All right. Tradition 10. Now this Tradition 10. Narcotics Anonymous has no opinion. No opinion. Not a little opinion, not a partial opinion. No opinion on outside issues. Hence, the NA name ought never, never, never be drawn into public controversy. All right? NA has no opinion whatsoever. By refusing to take sides on other issues, we avoid becoming embroiled in public controversy that could distract us from our primary purpose. It's all about the primary purpose. To be available in the best of all atmospheres for the addict who still suffers. That's all. And that tells us that we put our personal shit on the back burner for the unity and the fellowship. Now, the only way I can suggest that you believe that is to work some steps. Work steps. You know, there's a power that comes in being selfless. There's a power that comes in unconditional love. And that power that is given to me by God. You know, it's a sense of security, a sense that I don't have to run things anymore. You know, you had that experience yourself where the burden has been lifted, much like the obsession to use, but the burden to be in control, the burden to be in charge is just gone. It says here, this is the message of our 10th tradition. Okay, what happens is that addicts can get embroiled in a lot of shit. And I thought I didn't have nothing much on this, right? Moral Be Revealed tells us some things, right? Moral Be Revealed says, and I use the book. It feels so good to be able to go right to the book. Right to the book, you know. I got a couple friends that do this like this, you know. You know, I ain't no parrot. I just don't want you to think it's opinion, you know. For the first time, I told you I was a raggedy head motherfucker in prison for 15 years, right? You know, 33 years of active in the grip drug addiction, right? You know, here it is. For the first time in our lives, we may be asked to serve in positions of responsibility in community organizations outside NA. More be revealed. Our opinions are sought and valued by non-addicts in areas other than addiction and recovery. I'm a speaker. Here I'm a messenger. I ain't no speaker here. You know, I'm not a speaker. I'm a messenger. I got something else that I do for my employment where I'm a speaker. You know, I'm a member of a speakers bureau. And I talk about addiction. Now, I know that like, when I do that kind of stuff, and I'll get into that with the 11th tradition, you know, all this goes inside. No sweatshirts, but that's the 11th tradition. I don't want to get ahead of myself, right? But when I speak, they always ask me, always, because when I speak for a national nonprofit corporation that will remain anonymous, all right? And when I speak, they always, without fail, ask me where my recovery is. You understand? I tell them, and it tells me that I can, with my own sense of security, it tells me that. It'll tell me that in the 12th tradition. All right? You know, I tell them I recover in a 12-step fellowship. Man, I don't kick out Narcotics Anonymous. I'm going to tell you why I don't do it. And we're going to talk about that in the next tradition. But I don't do it because then they bring up this shit. Well, we heard that Narcotics Anonymous doesn't work that well. We hear that treatment facilities are better. You know, we don't take issue with anybody's form of treatment. Now, it also says in here that Narcotics Anonymous does not lay claim to being the only method of recovery. What we lay claim to is we are a proven method of recovery. All right? Now, let's do a group inventory, a room inventory. I want to see the hands of all people in this room who are recovering today. That looks like proof to me. All the hands went up in here. You know, so I'm saying that I don't need to pit Narcotics Anonymous up against any other form. People will say, well, isn't a religion enough? You know? And see, I didn't name it, right? You know, isn't that enough? We don't deal with that. We don't say whether it is or whether it isn't. But what I will tell you is that it's a proven way of recovery. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it gets hard. This is where the humility comes in. Huh? This is where the lack of arrogance, this is where the put cut on the ego comes in. You understand? Comes through the step work. Because the step, without steps, you know what I say? Narcotics Anonymous is the only thing that works. Only thing ever saved my life, therefore, let's personalize it. Let's get subjective about it. Only thing ever saved my life, got to be the only thing that ever worked. No, it's not. You know, I happen to know a few people who are clean. I'm not going to talk about recovery. That's not my area to talk about whether somebody's recovering or not. I keep the focus on myself. Am I recovering? Yes, I am. I can say I'm recovering. Am I recovering at the rate you want me to? Probably not. You understand? But just like, does he have a desire? Yes. Do I have a desire that you want me to have? Probably not. You know what I'm saying? You know? So I stay away from that. Now, that's on the outside. That's outside stuff. Trying to like keep our fellowship out of the newspaper, you know. And I've seen it, man. I've seen it. I don't know how that happened, you know. It was a case a couple of years ago where somebody got raped in Narcotics Anonymous. Or there was no. Back up. There was an allegation of rape of one Narcotics Anonymous member by another. Somehow the newspaper got the whole scoop on meeting at some fellowship, and that they knew each other from Narcotics Anonymous in the newspaper, and that this thing happened, you know, was not good press for us, all right? Step work tells me that no matter what happens, just like we say, we're talking about putting my personal recovery behind the unity of the fellowship. Just like we say, no matter what happens, we don't use no matter what. All right? The only thing that keeps me from using me, I ain't talking about all the other people who stay clean through their own ways. Me is Narcotics Anonymous. I can say that to you. I mean, it ain't me. Nothing worked for me. Nothing. I tried everything. Wine. Acupuncture. Check it out. 32 fucking detoxes between 1967 and 1988. 15 years of prison. Not divorce. You know. Homelessness, joblessness, uselessness, living in abandonments. You know. Nothing else worked for me. Nothing. So therefore, I need to put Narcotics Anonymous up front if I want to continue to enjoy my way of life. It's quite that simple. But I have to believe that. In order for me to really do that, I have had to turn my will and my life over to the care of God as I understand Him. I have to have some faith and belief that I don't have to run the show no more. I can't do the traditions without the steps, you know? Now, couple things. In NA meetings, I've heard people close. And in order for you to know, I've got to say this, all right? I wouldn't say this, but this is a tradition meeting. We're talking about a workshop to learn about this, right? So I need to say this. I've heard people say, let's have a moment of silence for the addict who still suffers and for the troops in Operation Desert Storm. Well, check it out. When you do something like that, there's always going to be some people on the other side of that who are going to say, fuck Operation Desert Storm. I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. All right? It's going to happen as sure as I'm standing here. I ain't got to have no divine insight to say that. All right? Experience tells me that. So people are going to say, oh, and guess what's going to happen? They're going to stop listening to your fucking message. Understand? Because without step work, I got through it because I got principles before personality. You understand? You know, so I can get through the working steps. But you get somebody ain't working those steps, and they'll say, I ain't about that shit. Back in the 60s. I'm from the 60s. I ain't no spring chicken. You understand? You know? I'm 45 years old, going on 46 this year. You understand? I came up during the Vietnam era. The mothers and sons were divided. Fathers and daughters were divided. Families didn't speak to families because this family was for the war and this family was against the war. All right? I know what I'm talking about. You understand? What happens when an open mind gets closed? And I'm not going to go through the shit about, well, he should have an open mind. No, we should help as much as we can for each and every individual member to have an open mind. Now, if there's something hurting me, different issue. If I'm in pain because of a brother or sister or loved one over there, and it's interfering with my recovery, then I need to share on that. You understand? Book says it. That's not opinion. Book says it. Book, I did my homework. You understand? I did my fucking homework. You know? Now, there's one more thing on this 10th tradition. And I have to share on it. Because it's change. We say, if nothing changes, nothing changes. You know, sometimes you need courage when you stand. It ain't all about coming up here and have everybody loving me. I need to say some things. If anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, ever reminding us to place principles before personalities, why is it so important for me to name the God of my understanding? Why? You understand what I'm saying? More lives have been lost in religious wars than any wars on the face of the earth. You understand? If it's a God of my understanding, check it out, and I understand him. And I respect your right to a God of your understanding. Then if anonymity is the spiritual foundation of all our traditions, then the God of my understanding must remain anonymous. It says that these traditions are non-negotiable. When I don't do that, I'm putting personalities before principle. You know? And I walk around talking about I'm a spiritual warrior. You know? What it is I'm an addict who's deficient in the area of self-will. Damn. So, I hope some people will speak to me later on. Apply some principles for personalities to me. Because I'll die if you don't hug me. You know? Or I'll keep coming back, you know, with that, as they say in Baltimore. The 11th tradition. Man. 11th tradition talks about our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. It says we need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and films. You know? It distinctly says that we don't do that. We do not go on TV. You know, I don't go on TV and I don't say, just because I did a good deed, they say, boy, you were a good Samaritan. You turned in that $50,000 cash, untraceable numbers. I gotta get honest here. First of all, I question my goddamn self. It's an honest program, right? However, if I turned it in, you heard I said if, right? Whoa, hey, shit, I'll keep coming back, right? If I turn it in, I cannot say that this is what Narcotics Anonymous does for me. Can't do it. One might think, oh, that would be good promotion. We don't promote NA. All right? We promote, check it out. I did my homework. We promote NA in one way only. One way. All right? Public information. And it's a different type of promotion. All right? And I'm going to see if I can find it here. Ooh, this is deep. is, the primary purpose of our public relations effort is to tell the story of Narcotics Anonymous and what our program offers to the still suffering addict. What it says is that public information work done properly is not promotion. Rather, it seeks to make NA attractive to those who might need us. You know, we say you got to know where we are. You got to know we exist, you know, in order to get the hit. Now, it also says our family members who've known us over long periods of time, right? Our family members, you know, somebody to know, and they know that you hit bottom after bottom after bottom. When they say scumbag, right? So, like, fuck, can't leave your pocketbook around them, you know, stinks, can't get them to take a bath, can't let them stay here, don't give them no goddamn key to the apartment, you know, steal the TV, VCR. All of a sudden they see us with a haircut, clean shaven, washing our own clothes, get a job, right? Yeah, get a little piece of a car. They say, God damn, you know what they're going to say. Well, what happened to you? Right? The perfect opportunity. In those cases, these are family members who knew us when. The perfect opportunity to tell them what has going on in our life. Because in doing so, we're not breaking our anonymity. They knew about us all the fucking time. Right? But what it does is we never know which family member or friend might be in the grip. And when we share with them how it's worked for us now, that someone may come here. It says we can do that. We can do it. Say that's not promotion. That's answering an intimate question from somebody who knows us dearly, you know. It also talks about, listen to this, it talks about our public relations is not, and I'm glad I saw this in the book, in the text, right? And it worked out on why. There's a lot of controversy about when, not a lot, let me diminish that. You know, it's not no lot of controversy, all right? Let me use the exact words. That time to time there comes some controversy about wearing NA jewelry and sweatshirts and stuff like that, right? Well, it says here, all right, wait a minute. All our members play a part in our public relations, whether or not they're involved in public information work. We must remember that wherever we go, we always represent NA to some degree. If we are seen acting poorly while we prominently display an NA logo on our t-shirt, we carry a distinctly unattractive message about our fellowship to the public. That means that having had a spiritual awakening, as a result of these steps, we try to carry this message to addicts and to practice, check it out, to practice these principles in all our affairs. You understand? All our affairs means all our affairs. If I'm living spiritually, I'm trying to be God-reliant. I've cleaned myself up, not for me. I've cleaned myself up to be an envoy for God, to be the harbinger of hope, you know, to let people know that hope is possible, that one can be free. You know, if I've done that, and I've turned my will and my life over, and I've looked at my character defects, and I've corrected them, and I've learned how to effectively relate to others, another aspect of sanity, by making amends, and I've improved my conscious contact with God by taking my inventory. You understand what I'm saying? Then I've done that, man, to carry a message in all my affairs wherever I go. It's not an easy thing, but it's possible. They said we keep what we have only with vigilance. You understand? I made some mistakes in my recovery. The depth of my mistakes are not nearly so fucked up. All right? Because I've addressed my character defects, the ones I know of. You understand? I must admit to you that I'm crazy in ways that I don't even know yet. You understand? I know that. How do you know that? Because it says in our fourth step, the longer we live our program, the more God puts us in positions where issues surface. You understand? They tell me that any addict way, we're talking about finding a new way to live. When the issues surface, if I don't have living skills in that area, You know? The first thing I do is try to solve it my goddamn self. With no experience. You understand what I'm saying? You know? So I need to constantly come into meetings, talking to people, you know, the ones you talked about, Val, the non-judgmental ones. All right? I hurt real easy. You know, I hurt real easy. You know, I ain't that well where I just come and give you all my shit in the meeting. You know, that's why I got a sponsor, and I got some men in my life. You know, not a lot. You understand? Some men in my life. See, I was in prison. You don't go to prison talking about I'm powerless. All right? You didn't do that. You understand? You just didn't do that. You know, you don't do that. That's one thing you don't do. All right? So I'm talking about learning how to be honest. All right? So I want to get, you know, and it's a learning process. It tells me that in the first step that works how and why. It's a learning process. So I need to remember that wherever I am, think first. Think. Try to put something between me and that response that I'm so used to. I'm used to responding. I'm used to like jab slapping a motherfucker real quick. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't mean I'm tough and I'm rough. I mean I'm out of my mind. You understand? That's what I'm talking about. You know, I ain't bad. I'm crazy. Well, I'm getting better a day at a time, right? You know, so I'm saying to live in all my affairs means that sometimes I have to, what do we say? I gotta eat crow. Eat crow, man. We do whatever is necessary to stay clean, even the things we don't like doing. Why do we say stay clean? You're not talking about using. Yes, I am. Because when I relapse spiritually, and I hold on to that relapse, all right, then I segue into relapsing mentally. Well, I can work this out, you know? Then I ain't got nothing between the pain. Pain gets great. I got nothing between me and using. You understand? Because if I ain't shared about my spiritual relapse, and I haven't shared about my mental relapse, guess what? I ain't sharing nothing. You understand? I found out, I've been around here long enough to find out that if I ain't telling the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, that I ain't gonna move another further until I get honest. And if I can't get honest, I'm edging my way out. That isn't just good NA lingo, that's my experience. I was on my way out, but I'm back. I got honest. First we tell the truth about our drug problem, huh? Then we tell the truth about our lives. We say, how you living? How you living? Don't like to tell somebody I'm living foul. Fucked up. Huh? Why? That takes me off of image time. I want to be that, you know, I want to have, you know, I want to be perfect. It's a part of my disease. Part of my disease. There's nothing freakish about wanting to be perfect. What it is that's important is that I realize and accept that I ain't perfect. You know? Accept myself for who I am and move the fuck on. You know? Don't stay locked into that. So, I don't know how I got to that from carrying this message in all our affairs. Because I think it's relevant. I know how I got there. I got there because talking about how can I carry a message in all my affairs if I ain't got no goddamn message? Huh? If my message is just, check it out, here's the hit. If my message is just as a speaker, but not a messenger, there's a difference. Don't let nobody stand up here and bamboozle your ass. You understand? They're speakers and they're messengers. A messenger's gonna come here and tell you some things about him or herself. You understand? Tell you some things. That's why I didn't think I could do these traditions. Because I said I need to talk about me. I've been sick for a long time. I don't need no, here's the word, my friend Usman relates this word. I don't need to talk about no exogenous shit. That means stuff outside of myself. I need to talk about me, so I gotta make these traditions work with me, with my personal recovery. You understand? So I'm saying I gotta come up here and make myself to be a real person. You know, I got lost in the shuffle. You understand? If I can't identify, I'm lost. I need to identify. Now, I hear people come and they say, well, I ain't gonna give you a drug-a-log war story. I'm gonna tell you how I'm recovering. You better give my motherfucking ass a drug-a-log war story. I'm talking about when I first get here, or I'm gonna feel like I'm in the wrong goddamn place. I'm gonna feel like you didn't do what I did. You wasn't in a 5-by-7-foot cell. You didn't shoot out the police. You didn't get shot. You didn't shoot them motherfuckers. You understand? I need to know what you did. You ain't gotta live in it, but you better tell me what you did. You understand? Hey, tell me what you're doing now. Now. You know? So I read about a guy, man, he was a great Cuban revolutionary. Guy was great. I studied guerrilla warfare in prison. I wanted to be just like him. Just like him. You know? And I said, well, the guy make no mistakes, man. He's the consummate guerrilla warfare fighter. He knows everything. The guy's great. I want to be like him, but I can't be like him. Only thing I can do is buy a 30 caliber carbine when I get out of prison. You know what I'm saying? Get rubber gloves and canteens and shit, right? Then I read a book about his death. About his death, not about his life. About his death, because the motherfucker made some mistakes. You understand? The guy was fighting, he had made an incursion into the jungles of Bolivia. Him and his guerrilla band. And they had slaughtered a pig. And they didn't cook the pork long enough. Well, if you don't cook pork long enough, you get sick as hell. Now, I don't know that because I don't eat it, but I've been told that. My mother used to tell me. God bless her. They got sick and they couldn't fight. They laid on the side of the jungle. They almost lost their lives because they got incapacitated because they didn't have experience, strength, and hope on cooking a goddamn pig. Then I heard that the guy, that he had this bad, fine woman with him in the jungles. And that she was fucking him to death. Doing him in between the vines. And I said, shit, check it out. I'm telling you, I thought the guy was almost him, right? So I said, damn. He likes to fuck too, right? So I could identify. You understand what I'm saying? He was no longer unattainable, unapproachable, untouchable. Here's the word, I could emulate him. I could be like him. You understand? You know? And I'm not, the difference between a speaker and a messenger. Let me tell you what it is. The speaker, all right? The speaker is the guy who comes up, much like James Brown, right? Dun, 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 dun. Boom, dun, 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 boom, dun, 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 dun. Ow! Dun, 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 dun. Gonna have a funky good time, right? You know, James, he be sweating, you know, much like the messenger. Sweating, you know, and everybody be with him, much like messengers, right? And then James, when James done, they play it. Dun, 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 dun. James walking off. And they put the cape on him, right? Then what's going to happen next? Tell me what he's going to do. He's going to throw that cape off. You know, you can expect that James Brown is going to throw that cape off. Why? Because he's entertaining. We pay to see that shit. You dig what I'm saying? You know? Don't tell me to go hear the whispers sing, and they don't sing Olivia Lost and Turned Out. You know? Lost and turned out. You know what I'm saying? I paid my money for Olivia Lost and Turned Out. That's entertainment. You dig what I'm saying? The messenger comes without a canned message. The messenger comes, I didn't know what the fuck I was going to talk about in these traditions. Messenger comes and says, God, you got this. I trust you. I don't know who's going to like me after I'm done. But I'm here. To do your will and not mine. I'm trying a day at a time to become a better messenger and servant for God. I don't want to entertain. I just want to carry a message of hope, a promise of freedom, to help you laugh and cry and get in touch with some things, because that's what I need to do. I do it for myself. I'd like to thank the Boston Area Convention of Narcotics Anonymous, too, for inviting me here to share my experience, strength, and hope on the Dead Sea Scrolls, the traditions, 7 through 12. I want to thank everybody who came out to support their recovery and mine in this tradition meeting, which is usually really light, and it's not today. I love you all. I need you in my life, so continually, please help to bless me. I'll help you. Thanks for listening. Let's go front. Go front.
No, I missed
I'm an addict. My name is John. Hi, John. Just for the day, tell yourself, just for the day, my thoughts will be on my recovery, living and enjoying life without the use of drugs. Just for the day, I will have faith in someone in NA who believes in me and wants to help me in my recovery. Just for the day, I will have a program I will try to follow to the best of my ability. Just for the day, through NA, I will try to get a better perspective on my life. Just for the day, I will be unafraid. My thoughts will be on my new associations. People who are not using and who want to find a new way of life. So as long as I follow that way, I have nothing to fear. Thanks, John.
Thanks, John.
God, grant me serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Keep coming back and working. Hey, Ron, thank you, man.